It is a nice fall day for some SEC football as Kentucky at 6-2, taking on Ole Miss at 3-5. Dave Neal back alongside my partner Matt Stinchcomb, the former All-American at the University of Georgia. Don Davenport will join us in just a moment, and I tell you what a weekend it was, and disappointment for Ole Miss. I think Coach Matt Luke summed it up. He said it was a real gut punch in that loss to Arkansas last weekend. How did these guys get over that?
Well, they've developed a callus by now, I would think, at Ole Miss, because there's been nothing but adversity throughout this season. But more than anything else, internally, they have to convince themselves, we lost this football game. We gave it away. The 3 turnovers really hurt Ole Miss, obviously cost them the ultimate victory in this game. They have to convince themselves we're a better football team than the way we played a week ago. The season starts this week versus Kentucky.
Well, as painful as that was for Ole Miss last weekend, there was certainly some excitement right here in Lexington. It was a game in which, Kentucky had a chance to lose it, but they found a way to win it. They're 6-2. Hey, they're still in this SEC East race here in November. How legit are they at 6-2?
Well, this is a team that's just good enough to find ways to win, and the coaches recognize this as well. They say that, look, we have to go out, we have to play well if we expect to be victorious in the matchups that we face. And when you look at their margin of victory throughout this season and the record that they've accumulated, the statistics bear that out. But this is a team that clearly believes in itself. They don't win pretty, but they win.
Well, for Kentucky, it was a big night, obviously knocking off Tennessee last weekend. And this guy, Steven Johnson, gutted out a performance. He got hurt on this play, left the game, came back in, would obviously score that winning touchdown. It has been a tough physical couple of weeks for him. For more on his story and how much he'll go today, let's go down to Don Davenport.
Well, Dave, Steven Johnson spent at least twice a day, every day in the training room this week, getting treatment on that bruised shoulder, a big reason he's going to play today. I talked to him a few minutes ago. He said shoulder feels good, but they have added some extra padding under his shoulder pads. These will go on both sides to help absorb some of those hits that he's been taking. Coaches told us that Steven's one of the toughest kids they've been around, so they're not going to change or limit what they do offensively today. Guys, coach said Steven wouldn't even let them if they tried to limit him.
Thanks, Dawn. And reading all the articles this week, talking to guys yesterday in our meetings, the respect they have for him and the way he came out and handled that tough situation last week certainly bodes well for this team moving forward. Kentucky wins the toss. They defer. Ole Miss will get the football. Austin McGinnis will kick it away to Jalen Jones, who is back to return. Jalen had a 97-yard kickoff return in the opener against South Alabama. He leads the SEC in total return yards. Matter of fact, Ole Miss leads the SEC overall in kickoff return yardage, and this one will be taken about 3 or 4 yards deep and on a knee. And at quarterback for the second consecutive week, Jordan Ta'amu, the junior college transfer, looked very impressive last week.
He couldn't have started out any better than he did last week versus Arkansas. Explosive plays. Didn't feel as if the stage was too big for him. This offensive system has afforded Ta'amu plenty of reps. They split reps even when Shea Patterson was still healthy. And Ta'amu, in his first career start versus Arkansas, played very well. Needs to protect the football. That's obvious. But you can see the yardage that was generated and the threat that Ta'amu is as a runner. That's an element that the Kentucky defense is going to have to keep a very close eye on, especially in third down, obvious passing situations.
Ole Miss, of course, got up to a great start last week. Second play from scrimmage, 64-yard touchdown run from their senior tailback, Jordan Wilkins. So here we go from the 25-yard line. Little play fake to Wilkins, and they'll get it to the outside. The pass is caught. DK Metcalf only a yard or two. And that'll be an interesting matchup today, Stinch. These wide receivers from Ole Miss, certainly great size against the great size on the outside of Kentucky.
Yeah, I mean, you think Kentucky basketball. This looks almost like a front court, a couple of guys going after rebounds.
They'll end up giving him 3 on that last play, so 2nd and 7. This one is dropped. DeMarcus Lodge. Take a look at our starting lineups brought to you by Ace. And certainly the receivers will be a big part of this one. But you got to use Jordan Wilkins to make those guys effective.
You know, that's the balance that really Ole Miss lacked early on in the season. When Wilkins went north of 100 yards rushing versus Alabama, Matt Luke and offensive coordinator Phil Longo said, we have to make sure we get our ground game going. And Wilkins is a dangerous runner with excellent vision.
Third down. Damu. He'll be dropped back around the 21-yard line. The 20th sack of the year. That one is by Denzel Ware, who just picked up sack number 4.5.
It's a twist game on the left side of the Ole Miss offensive front, and Denzel Ware just keeps working across the face of left guard Javon Patterson. And this is something that Kentucky's going to have to be able to do. Because when you get in obvious passing downs, Kentucky wants to play zone. They have to affect the passer with 4.
End over end kick from Will Gleason. Take a roll inside the 35-yard line, and that is where Kentucky will have it after a 43-yard punt. And here comes Steven Johnson, and boy, he has been a calming force for this offense.
Well, he's been calming, no question, and it's an offense that's been somewhat dampened this year. Not as explosive, but they've been clutch. And Steven Johnson, we've already mentioned his toughness. He finds ways to make those plays in the big moments, even returning after injury. What's one of the first things he does? He pulls on a zone read and takes off running with that bad shoulder. That toughness has seeded and earned respect of his teammates.
Had more rushing yards than passing yards last week against the Volunteers. And here he goes on the first play, and he'll slide down at around the 43-yard line, give him 8. Take a look at this Kentucky offense. And of course, this is an offense that Benny Snell will be highlighted quite a bit today.
Benny Snell is probably going to be the drum beat, but C.J. Conrad at his tight end position is a point that has to be more emphasized offensively. Eddie Grant said they want to get 87 going.
And there you go. C.J. Conrad. First catch in 4+ games for the tight end. That's a gain of 8 as you look at this Ole Miss defense. And they got some guys that can get after you on the outside, but they're going to need some good linebacking play.
And DeMarcus Gates has been kind of that centerpiece defensively for Ole Miss all season long. Very consistent. Last week, a career high 15 tackles. Incredibly active. They'll line him up at the end of the line of scrimmage, but he also patrols the box from tackle to tackle.
Johnson keeps it, and he is hit, falls on the healthy shoulder, picks up 2. And there is Gates to pick up the stop for Ole Miss.
That's the danger of this zone read. When you see it a lot, we've already seen a counter play. We've seen a boot off of the counter play, moving the pocket early for Steven Johnson. But Eddie Grant, offensive coordinator at Kentucky, said, I'm not going to change anything. We're not going to call this game any differently than we otherwise would. He trusts his quarterback, and he trusts his toughness.
Bowden in motion. And here is Lynn, the true freshman. We'll get it just inside the 20. Instead, it's time for us to take a look at today's keys to the game.
Well, you know, it seems as if Kentucky would likely be able to run the football well versus an Ole Miss defense that has to key on stopping that one element. So because of that, Kentucky offensively, they're going to need to hit an early shot. Make this defense respect you a little bit. Right now, early on in the opening possession, marching this football right into the red zone. An opportunity maybe to take a shot here on a second and manageable in the red zone fringe.
Bowden in that Wildcat formation. He completed a pass last week. This time he'll keep it. And he is wrapped up around the 20-yard line. That'll be a loss of a yard. Gates getting in there to make the play.
And Bowden, a guy that we've mentioned coming out of high school, a highly touted recruit, played quarterback. A guy that can make plays not only as a receiver, he's ran the football, but also, of course, able to unleash a pass a time or two. And based on how Ole Miss will play the Kentucky offense, because Bowden will line up in the Wildcat spot, that will determine whether or not we'll see a pass coming from number 1 today.
So 3rd down and 7. Ole Miss pinching in the corners. Pass is complete around the 15-yard. Actually incomplete, bobbled and then dropped. They're going to call. Are they going to say completion? They are. Our umpire said like it was incomplete, but they're going to give him the reception.
Well, at a program that's had some storied receivers, Garrett Johnson's one of the best. I mean, it seems as if he's been here at Kentucky for about 7 years. Not only did he bobble that one, but he's a guy that'll catch it by any means necessary. Used his knees on that catch.
And here comes Austin McGinnis, who was 13 of 18 this year, and he is a perfect 8 of 8 inside of 40 yards. This is from 36. He has hit 63 of 81 field goals in his career. And And that one is about as perfect as you can get it. Right down the middle for McGinnis, and Kentucky opens up the scoring. They lead Ole Miss 3-0 here in the first quarter. 9:45 to play. He's only done this 64 successful times in his career. I think he knows how to do it. I think he's figured it out. Well, the Cats get a 36-yard field goal from Austin McGinnis to take a 3-0 lead early on in this matchup between two longtime SEC foes. They haven't played since 2011, however. They're getting back together here in Lexington on this Saturday in November. So Austin McGinnis will kick it away. This Kentucky team has played so many close ball games this year and having some success winning them. Wasn't necessarily the case the first couple of years, but they seem to have the that something, that it factor here in 2017.
He is a lethal weapon with that ball in his hands as a runner.
He will fake it and throw over the middle. This pass is caught by the tight end Dawson Knox out of Nashville, Tennessee. The walk-on tight end picks up 26, and they have found themselves a pretty good weapon.
Well, Dawson Knox is a guy they say might have the best hands of all the receivers, and this is a talented wide receiving core, a big target at tight end.
So first down and 10. Ta'amu, he'll keep it, and that didn't go well. Jordan Jones, boy, what an athlete they have in that young man, the junior out of Youngstown, Ohio.
Jordan Jones is so explosive as a player. They missed 4 games from him with a shoulder injury. Led the conference in tackles a year ago. And he's such an athlete in space. You see him coming down on the gap exchange, did a great job.
Boy, Kentucky might have gotten a break there. They looked like they were not lined up. They substituted late. Lodge couldn't catch up to the pass. Lonnie Johnson on that coverage.
There's something that defensive coordinator Matt House had some concern about are the vertical shots that Ole Miss will take. A lot of their routes send their receivers deep downfield. They're going to challenge your secondary. And here on a 3rd and long, you know, Kentucky showing pressure. They don't bring pressure very much in these 3rd down scenarios.
They'll bring a couple extra. Pass is caught to A.J. Brown, and he'll be stopped around the 34-yard line, shy of the first down. He'll get 7. Josh Allen will get credit for the tackle for Kentucky.
Almost got home. Affect the passer. Did bring pressure that time, as you mentioned, Dave. And A.J. Brown has been taken away a lot by defenses. And you see Ole Miss, this riverboat gambler time. And once again, they're saying, look, we're kind of in no man's land. Let's go for it.
4th down, and let's call it 5. Ole Miss 3 out of 8 on 4th down attempts this year. Ta'amu, he keeps it, first down around the 25-yard line. Denzel Ware tripped him up, but a gain of 9.
This is no scramble. This is designed quarterback draw. You see him possess that football for a second, let Wilkins pick up the edge pressure, and then pierce the defense right upfield.
So the Ta'amu first down run on 4th down sets up Ole Miss 1st and 10 from the 25-yard line. Play clock, by the way, was malfunctioning, so they're keeping it down on the field. Here's Ta'amu, clean pocket, near side. That pass is caught, that one by Lodge, and he is pushed out of bounds around the 8-yard line. That's a pickup of 12 and another first down.
Continue to try DeMarcus Lodge's side of the formation, and this is a portion of the field where when you look at score percentage, Ole Miss doesn't do that bad of a job, but you got to get touchdowns. And 51% of your possessions in this red area, you have to come away with 6 more frequently than that.
10th play of the drive. They'll swing it out to A.J. Brown. Turns the corner, dives for the end zone. They will say, we'll discuss it and say touchdown.
Mike Edwards for Kentucky is going to be matched up on A.J. Brown quite a bit today. And if you get a missed tackle versus these receivers, they got an excellent job. They do an excellent job, rather, of running after the catch. A.J. Brown showing that extension right there at the pylon.
Well, the ball obviously hit the pylon. Touchdown there. Did he stay in bounds is the question. We didn't have any look that would show us otherwise. So Gary Wunderlich with the point after and some pushing and shoving, and a flag comes in.
Coordinator Phil Longo coaching them up.
Number 87, Ole Miss, 34, Kentucky. That was their first unsportsmanlike conduct foul of the game. Those fouls offset. The try is good. Timeout.
Regardless of those personal fouls, A.J. Brown from 8 yards out gives the Rebels the lead. 7-3 here in Lexington. Back in a moment. Those rankings are rat poison, Dari.
That was a nice drive by South Carolina. 10 plays, 75 yards versus that defense. Oh, rat poison. This team's better find some antidotes.
Oh, big hit on Lynn Bowden. Didn't get to the 20-yard line. Well, coming King and Snell in the backfield, along with Steven Johnson on 1st down and 10. They will swing it out to King. He is pushed out of bounds at the 38, 6-yard pickup.
And that's easy pitch and catch right there. It's a long handoff to Saheem King, a guy that Eddie Gran said, look, we got to get more touches to this guy. He got a quick toss last week, fumbled right away. They went back to him, though, gave him some more carries. He is an explosive kind of counterpunch to what Benny Snell is, and they're both in the backfield together.
2nd down and 17. They'll give it to Benny. Hurdles a defender and gets out of bounds. Jumps right over C.J. Moore to pick up 7 yards.
Kid's a jock, isn't he?
Yes.
I mean, we talk about him moving the pile. Nice little stiff arm. Then he's just jumping over would-be tackles. Look at that. That's a pretty good athleticism. You see a lot of guys hurdle, but not a lot of them stick the landing and stay on their feet.
180 yards rushing against Tennessee. Most ever by a Kentucky running back against the Volunteers.
Watch, see if Kentucky doesn't try to move the pocket here. Maybe boot Steven Johnson out to get away from the pass rush.
3rd down. Johnson. Pass is caught. Richardson will have the 1st down around the 30-yard line. A 23-yard pickup. Jalen Jones back in coverage.
Nice protection by the Kentucky offensive front. Ole Miss brings 6. And Taven Richardson showing that length and able to go up and snag that downfield pass from Steven Johnson. 6'3" target, caught a big 36-yarder last week on the game-winning drive versus Tennessee.
Steven Johnson 5 of 5, 44 yards. Only threw for 46 last weekend. Johnson dancing around, has some room to run. He's to the 20, to the 15, and will step out of bounds. 16 yards.
Last week versus Tennessee, Kentucky ripped off 2 really nice runs. The same look, same motion with Benny Snell. But this time they were looking to take a shot downfield. Great coverage by Ole Miss's secondary. And then Steven Johnson showing what we're talking about, why he's dangerous. You know, sometimes you tuck it and run it. That's not a broken play. It doesn't turn into a coverage sack. It turns into a 1st down and a red zone possession.
Just inside the 15-yard line for Kentucky. This is their 10th play of the drive, coming to the close of the 1st quarter. And some feet got tangled up. C.J. Conrad was the intended target. Looks like DeMarcus Gates and Conrad might have got a little too close to each other.
What? A little too close. That's what happens when you clothesline a tight end on his release. Watch Gates.
Oh, just wrapped him up. Yeah.
I don't know how a flag doesn't come out right there. And number 3, DeMarcus Gates, a guy that we said needs to have a big game for Ole Miss.
That's a touchdown.
It is a touchdown. And we've seen Kentucky, they've hit that play a couple of different times. And you can tell Gates, he realized it, but he realized it late. No flag came out.
2nd down and 10. They'll go to Bowden. He's inside the 10-yard line, picks up 4, but now you're looking at 3rd down and 6.
You see Bowden's elusiveness with the ball, a quick, just long throw over there horizontally. You try to make one guy miss and get upfield and pick up some positive yardage. Still can pick up a 1st down here in the red zone. A huge no call, though, because you mentioned it, Dave. That's a walk-in touchdown for C.J. Conrad. As it is, a 3rd down, close to 6 to try to convert and go back ahead in this game.
And I think C.J. is well aware that he might have gotten robbed of 6 points on the board for the Cats. Kentucky knocking on the door, but they trail by 4 here at home. 15 minutes are in the book. 2nd quarter football coming up right after this. Back in Lexington, Ole Miss leading 7-3. Mark Stoops during that timeout had a chance to vent a little bit about the no call a moment ago. We will flip-flop ends of the field here as Kentucky is in the red zone looking at a 3rd down.
Here's Garrett Johnson right here, a big target for them on 3rd downs.
And Johnson is wrapped up, and that is a loss. That'll take him outside the 15. A loss of 6. But here's Coach Stoops trying to get some answers on a couple of things in that 1st quarter.
Well, you know, you got a touchdown going the other way. It looked like the receiver was out of bounds before the ball touches the pylon, and then you get your tight end tackled on what otherwise would have been a walk-in touchdown and an easy throw. And instead, you end up, you can't convert on a 3rd down, a negative yardage play, and your place kicker's on the field again.
Austin McGinnis from 34 yards out. And he knocks another one through the uprights. He's hit from 36 and 34. It is a 1-point game. Back in a moment. .40-yard pickup. Tamu over the middle, just a little too far, looking for Dawson Knox. Incomplete. We talked about the matchup, and Kentucky might be one of the few teams in the country that can, at least from a size standpoint, handle the wide receivers from Ole Miss.
From a size standpoint, there's no question, because you look at the length that Kentucky has. You know, Derek Beatty is at 6'3". He's one of the few matchups where he's actually got an inch on Van Jefferson when he's out there on an island, singled up and covered. But you can see that this is something that Matt House talked about. It's the vertical threat of the Ole Miss passing game where you will be challenged downfield. And obviously we've seen Jordan Tamu able to deliver on the downfield throws.
Tamu will complete that one. It goes to DK Metcalf. He'll pick up 5.
A couple of weeks ago, head coach Mark Stoops took exception to his defensive secondary. He's a secondary guy, a DB coach. Spends a lot of time. He said, I want to see some of these throws challenged. In their loss to Mississippi State, he said there were 10 opportunities. We were 0 for 10. And in a game like this one, where the receivers were going to catch it, an opportunity for the secondary to step up with the Wildcats.
3rd down. Pressure comes to Amu to the end zone. Batted out away at the last minute. Chris Westry on the coverage of DK Metcalf.
Well, Chris Westry's the guy that needed to answer the call, and he did on that play. And this was after a pressure. Tamu taking a shot, having to stare down a blitz in his face, and look at Westry on his offhand play right through the hands of DK Metcalf.
Ooh.
You see Mike Edwards coming on the safety blitz. Denzel Ware getting there as well. And Tamu gets sandwiched. Maybe Mike Edwards needs to be like a blitz cousin or something.
Here's Gary Wunderlich. His field goal from 33 yards is good. 2 excellent kickers getting it done today here at Kroger Field. Let's get an update down from Dawn.
Hey guys, standing here watching Jordan Tamu talk to his offensive coordinator, told him he has found the official word from Ole Miss. Got the wind knocked out of him. He's good to go.
Bill Longo over there. Ole Miss drive. 6 plays, 59 yards, minute 30 off the clock. Kick will sail through the end zone. That's Richardson on the game. These two quarterbacks we talk about coming out of junior college. For Steven Johnson, he actually started at Grambling before he went to junior college, and not a lot of depth. They had one quarterback here at Kentucky. A couple of guys transferred out, and they were in kind of a, we got to go find somebody immediately. And they were down to like the middle of November, and they didn't have a quarterback. They studied some JC tape and liked what they saw in Johnson, offered him, showed up in January a few weeks later. There goes King. And a very similar story on the other side with Ta'amu. Ole Miss needed some help at quarterback. They had to go the JC route where they've had some success. Ta'amu, of course, had a New Mexico military academy, but grew up in Hawaii. And he was kind of a late ad for them as well. Boy, they're glad they found him.
Isn't it the truth? I mean, you look at Steven Johnson, it's been a year hence since he stepped in after Drew Barker's injury and has taken over as the starter. And obviously, Ta'amu, only his second opportunity at quarterback for Ole Miss.
Here's King on the handoff. Get it inside the 35.
You mentioned Saheem King. They're looking for him to get some touches. You know, already in this game, he's been targeted, get a couple chances, get some touches in the receiving game as well. They'll swing him out, get him out in the flats, and see if they can't get him out into space. And number 22, a guy that's got a little bit more wiggle than Benny Snell.
Markel Winters will come in and play the defensive end spot. Vacated by Speaks. Looks like a little double pass. Will come back the other way with it. Steven Johnson makes the catch. Stutter steps a man to the 10, to the 5. Out of bounds at the 3-yard line. 29 yards on the pickup. C.J. Moore chased him down.
Talk about lucky bounce. It's the Kentucky Bluegrass coming in handy. Bounces right up in his arms. Had C.J. Conrad early if he catches it clean. Two options on the quarterback throwback. You see Cal Meadows, number 73 out there. Bunchy Stallings just waiting to escort their quarterback. Nearly gets into the end zone on the trick play.
Good job by Bowden. Didn't panic. Now Snell in the Wildcat formation. He'll keep it working the right side. Boy, had he cut it back, there was a big hole. If he had just planted that foot, picks up one.
Exactly right, Dave. You know, if he just plants his outside foot, did you see the timing a little bit off on the snap? It's a walk-in touchdown. If Benny Snell just sticks his foot, cuts it up underneath the block of his two tight ends out there on the perimeter. As it was, he tried to press the edge. Well defended, stringing it out by Ole Miss.
Johnson back in at quarterback. Benny Snell off the right side. Gets his nose across the goal line. Touchdown, Kentucky. That's his 10th rushing touchdown of the year.
In the big games, Benny Snell he's stepped up. He started off the season kind of quietly, and as the season has worn on, coming off a season high 180 yards versus Tennessee, and he just powers his way into the end zone behind big Drake Jackson, a guy that we don't talk enough about at center. Had a redshirt freshman getting a nice push at the point of attack, and the Cats in the end zone again.
9 plays, 75 yards, 4.5 minutes off the clock, and the big play was the old double pass. Lynn Bowden makes a nice little catch, recovers a bobble, throws it back to his quarterback, Steven Johnson, who sets him up first and goal inside the 5. Jalen Jones, he's out over the 30-yard line. Quick throw to the outside. DeMarcus Lodge spins out of a tackle and will take it out over the 45-yard line. A pickup of 16 yards. And Ta'amu back in the game after he took a pretty good shot himself on Ole Miss' last offensive possession.
I'll tell you what, Dave, Derek Beatty's going to have to do a better job tackling an open field than that. He's lucky that DeMarcus Lodge lost a little bit of his footing, and he's still running.
Van Jefferson to midfield. Let's go down to Dawn.
Well, guys, lost in all of the focus on quarterback Jordan Ta'amu's injury that last drive is the fact that Ole Miss lost their right guard, Alex Givens. He headed into the locker room, going to be evaluated for a head injury.
Oh. Boy, injuries just decimating this Ole Miss team in so many ways. Of course, Shea Patterson, their outstanding quarterback, done for the year. Wilkins on that carry.
Well, Givens has been replaced by Durante Bolden. You see Sean Rawlings missed a game last week versus Arkansas.
Wilkins stays on his feet. Nice run from Jordan Wilkins. Will have the first down and a lot more inside the 35-yard line. A good 11-yard run.
Took contact in his own offensive backfield and kept his footing. Great balance by Wilkins, and gets a little bit of help. Looked like Bolden was trying to strip the ball so he could get the yardage.
Boy, how about that little shimmy from Wilkins? He's inside the 20.
Wilkins kind of holding that left arm down a little bit after that shot. Was able to shake Kendall Randolph in the open field. Whew, that move.
Wide open across the middle. Van Jefferson. Touchdown, Ole Miss from 20 yards out. That did not take very long. And for Van Jefferson, his first touchdown of the year.
Tempo getting to Kentucky on that one. Nice pump fake. Bought Courtney Love up underneath. Bought the safety as well with the pump. And Van Jefferson alone. He's going to get the belt. That's what these receivers get. They make big plays. They hand them the belt over there.
Call themselves the NWO for nasty wideouts. Well, Ta'amu looks like he's doing all right. He gets a little touch of the belt. Ta'amu, 14 of 18, buck 78, 2 TDs. Nice, 6 minutes and 18 seconds to go here before halftime. That kick will be fielded by Bowden at the goal line, and Lynn hit at the 20, drop there. Maybe a couple of tight ends for the Cats. Boy, a simple inside handoff. Going to Benny Snell will pick up 7. You know, you mentioned that tempo, and we talked to the coaches about tempo, and this week at practice, things change. They spend more time on quick pace, quick pace, quick pace.
You know, in Kentucky, when Eddie Grant came here, and he and Darren Henshaw both, the thought was this was going to be another tempo offense. And then they flipped the switch. It became more run-oriented, and it complements the defense better. But I think because of that, your defense doesn't see the tempo as much. Ole Miss moves quickly, not quite as quick as Missouri, but pretty quick. Challenges your defense.
Isaiah Epps will have enough for the first down. Pick up a 4.
See the screen game as well for Kentucky. This game, we hadn't seen a ton of it. Try to set one up earlier in this game. That's something that Eddie Grant can dial up as well, especially when they go multiple receivers into the boundary. Ole Miss has had some difficulty getting numbers to that side of the formation. And if you can do that, flip the ball out there quickly, you've got blockers. That's easy yardage that you can pick up.
They'll fake it to Snell. Roll Johnson near side. Pass is caught. That'll be another first down. Goes to Josh Ali. The redshirt freshman out of Hollywood, Florida, picks up 14.
You get to rock a defense back on its heels. And you allow your athletic quarterback to throw on the run, move the pocket on an early down, and pick up yet another first down, hitting Josh Ali when you boot your QB.
Deuce Johnson comes in motion behind the formation. They'll set up a middle screen. That'll go to Conrad. He'll get it back to the 30, but he's still about 4 yards shy of the original line of scrimmage.
The tight end screen that Eddie Grant talked about, that time pretty well defended by Ole Miss, stayed at home because there was a lot of eye candy going to the field side. The orbit motion, Garrett Johnson and Benny Snell out there in the flats calling for the football. Ole Miss stayed at home at linebacker and did a good job making the tackle on the tight end screen.
So second down and long. Snell and King in the backfield. They'll dump it off to King. Tries to cut it back inside the 30 for a couple of yards. Now it's third and long. Clock under a minute. Kentucky has all 3 timeouts left.
See, as it ticks down, they know they got an explosive offense on the other side. A big third down. You could preserve some time if you're Ole Miss as well, thinking about getting another possession. It's almost like both these teams playing for halftime.
About 30 seconds went off the clock as Johnson comes near side, and that ball is caught down around the 1-yard line. What a grab from Isaiah Epps. 28 yards, first and goal, Kentucky, 18 seconds to go.
We talk about contested throws, 50-50 balls. This time matched up with Kadarius Webster, coming back from having been banged up from injuries. And Epps, the true freshman, coming down with the big catch in only 16 seconds. It's going to play out just the way Kentucky would have liked. I think Steven Johnson get that defender as far from the box as possible. He's almost out of bounds.
So Snell in the Wildcat. Working the right side. His second touchdown today.
Wildcat power. Logan Stenberg pulling from left guard, and he was just looking for somebody to hit. Big number 71. He was looking for some resistance, almost fell down, and Benny Snell that time stuck his foot in the dirt and got right downhill quickly.
One after by McGinnis. Well, how about Kentucky? Turns it over 4 times last week, and a couple of them were on first downs and midfield, but they were able to come away with a win, and using that momentum here to take a 20-17 lead at the break. Time for us to get it to the studio, and Dari and the boys. Well, 2 junior college quarterbacks having a exceptional afternoon leading their offenses. Kentucky just a bit better, leading at 20-17 after 2 quarters of football. Dave Neal back alongside Matt Stinchcomb. And Matt, really, both these quarterbacks have just lit up this place in the first half. Exceptional play from that position.
You see 34 pass attempts across the both quarterbacks, and only 5 have hit the ground. I mean, they've done an excellent job of finding 15 different receivers amongst these 2 teams. 9 for Kentucky. 6 different people have caught the ball for Ole Miss.
They are playing at a very high level. Kentucky will have it first. Here's Bowden on a short kick. And he is stopped right at the 20-yard line. So Steven Johnson goes under center, hands it to Benny Snell. Benny to the 25. Let's go downstairs to Dawn.
Well, guys, Steven Johnson, you mentioned 15 of 16 in that first half, but Ole Miss head coach Matt Luke said, yeah, he's been good. Our focus the second half is still to stop the run. He pointed out Benny Snell, 11 carries for 66 yards. He said that's what they will focus on. They got to keep him under 100.
Boy, Benny Snell, that's going to be a tough task, the way he was running in the first half. Conrad. He is flipped up in the air and has the first down over the 30. It's a gain of 7. Well, that one stung a little bit, I think, on the big fella.
It's just easy to get width early because it's off a play action. It looks like one of those divide zones where Conrad comes all the way across the formation, except he's running a route. And that puts stress horizontally on those linebackers in coverage. They got to play run, and then when they realize that it's a boot, they've got to get out in coverage, and Conrad already outflanking the Ole Miss defense. That's easy yardage to pick up.
3 receivers near side. Benny Snell, your tailback. He'll take that handoff. Boy, a big hole off the left side. Over the 45 to the 46. 13 more yards for Mr. Snell.
That's a light box. You mentioned the receivers outside. You've only got 5 defenders tackle to tackle. Kentucky's got the offensive linemen to block that. And then you run a pull from your left side, and you're picking up a blocker at the point of attack. And 26 already gotten a couple of carries in this half, and looks like he got off a little gingerly there.
Wildcat with King taking the snap. And he'll get it to the Ole Miss 46-yard line. Go back to that last Benny Snell play.
Well, let me go and show you what I'm talking about here. You got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 defenders in this box. Well, you've got an extra blocker. You've actually won with numbers with the tight end in there. And so because of that, you've got a double team at least in one spot. You pull a guard in another. That's advantageous for an offense, and certainly for a running back in Benny Snell, who can get loose into the secondary.
Over the middle, Conrad wide open. Nobody's there. Touchdown, Kentucky, 46 yards. After going 4 games without a catch, they wanted to get 87 more involved, and I would say that they have done just that this afternoon. Austin McGinnis for the point after. And he will make it a 10-point game at 27-17. Opening drive of the third quarter. Very successful for Kentucky.
When you hit it, Dave, C.J. Conrad, he's been quiet for 4 games. Now here he is. And here's DeMarcus Gates. And you'll see the eyes of the leading tackler of Ole Miss looking in the backfield. And C.J. Conrad is all by himself. Makes the catch, and then makes the run into the end zone, and the Wildcats score early.
Well, the Kentucky cheerleaders having something to cheer about here in the third quarter. 27-17, Eddie Grand, the offensive coordinator for the Cats, with a good opening drive here to start the third quarter. 5 plays, 80 yards, 2:28 off the clock. Wilkins trying to kick it to the outside. Get it to the 32-yard line. Pick up a 5. Here's some of that Ole Miss tempo. Kentucky had some issues with it a few times in the first half.
Ole Miss tempo and Ole Miss balance. Something that Matt House talked about. He said, who's the key to this offense? He didn't mention a receiver. He mentioned Wilkins. If they can get him going, it'll be very difficult to defend both phases.
And Wilkins slips on the turf. He'll lose a couple of yards.
Well, here's a name we hadn't called all game, and he's kind of had some tough times. You see Wilkins coming off the field, but big Matt Elam blows this play up. Watch him right here in the middle. He just blows right through 2 blockers and disrupts the entire play. Dawson Knox, who's pulling on the counter, ends up making the tackle because of the contact for big Matt Elam.
Now Pitterman in the game at running back on a 3rd down and 8. Tamu. That pass is caught by Brown. A flag comes in. An amazing grab by A.J. Brown. 14-yard pickup. How did he catch that? Kendall Randolph was all over him.
Mike Edwards looked like he was going to get this pass breakup.
Pass interference, number 7 defense. The penalties decline. Result of the play is a first down.
And we talk about A.J. Brown being such a big target in the slot. And Mike Edwards, he sees Garrett Juice Johnson in practice all the time, and that time he fights his way through early coverage, we'll call it. Plenty of contact there from Edwards. And you see the length of Brown on that reception.
Little pump fake from Tamu. Boy, Knox turns around, makes a catch behind him. A former high school quarterback. You said it, coaches love his hands, and you saw that. He just picked that right out of the air, moving one way, ball going the other.
Once again, we see Tamu. He kind of pump fakes on the swing pass, and that freezes linebackers just enough, opens up the window for Knox at tight end, and another completion to number 9. You got Brown and Knox, 2 big targets in the trips formation to the left.
Blitz coming. Tamu on his feet, and he'll take it to the 35-yard line.
That's the difference in Tamu and Shea Patterson. Breaks down early. Shea Patterson still scrambling around behind the line of scrimmage. Tamu's not going to do that.
His final campaign in an Ole Miss jersey. He wants to go out with a flurry. Here's a great inside handoff. Pinnaman, big hole, still on his feet to the 15. He's kind of a short yardage guy, but showing you some legs there.
Great hole on the right side of the Ole Miss offensive front. Pinnaman gets downhill right now. Lead block. Dawson Knox coming up in there. A huge hole. And Ole Miss in the red zone.
20-yard pickup makes it first down and 10 for the 15. Quick throw to the wide side. That one will go to Van Jefferson. He'll pick up 5. Derek Beatty brings him down.
Pretty good tackle by Derek Beatty.
And here we go again, Stinch. Red zone opportunity for Ole Miss. And at this point, you got to get in the end zone.
Well, it's been a slow start, certainly, to that second half. When Kentucky came out of the locker room rocking and rolling, you want to come away with the touchdown.
Tamu keeps it, and he'll be dropped around the 11. That'll be a loss of a yard. Jordan Jones with his 5th tackle today.
They've been able to bottle up Tamu. More so, certainly, than we saw a week ago versus Arkansas. What you got to be mindful of here is the size of the Ole Miss receivers.
Incomplete. Penalty marker down at the 25-yard line.
Holding, number 50, offense.
Wow.
Penalties decline. 4th down.
This has not been a good series for the Rebels.
It could not have gone more poorly, short of a turnover going the other direction. They got an excellent field goal kicker in Wunderlich. Watch Rawlings right here. He's in the middle. Was concussed last week. He's working against Middleton. You see, he's just got a handful of jersey, and the difficult part when you got a scrambling quarterback is you don't know where he's leaking.
38-yarder on the way from Gary Wunderlich, and he nails another one. He's hit from 33 and 38. It's a 7-point game, 3:43 to go, 3rd quarter. Luke Logan will kick it away for Ole Miss, the redshirt freshman out of Hattiesburg, Mississippi. And Lynn Bowden. Boy, they're trying to get Lynn the ball more. You can tell it's an obvious attempt to get him some more touches.
A true freshman, a guy who's still kind of getting used to the pace of play, the level of play, but dangerous whenever he has the ball, including in returns.
You will catch that one at the 3. And he'll be stopped shy of the 20-yard line again. Eddie Snell running out of bounds by Hamilton. Picks up 3.
Javian Hamilton was a guy, we know we're going to see him today. Banged up last week. Concussion protocol, a couple of different players for Ole Miss. Thought they might have been a little bit short-handed in the secondary, able to get him back. He and Cedric Woods both in the Ole Miss defensive backfield.
King and Snell in the backfield for Kentucky. On 2nd down and 8. Johnson. That one is incomplete. He put Richardson kind of in a tough spot to make the catch. Hamilton on the coverage.
He wanted it earlier, and he didn't have it. So he kind of had that quick hitch, came back down and stayed with Richardson. Ended up trying to jam one in there. Long 3rd down, as we mentioned, Johnson right here, usually a favorite target of Steven Johnson.
Last week, Arkansas able to convert 12 of 19 3rd downs against Ole Miss. Kentucky 5 out of 8 today. And that one was a poor throw. He was looking for Juice Johnson. but well behind him, and now here comes the Kentucky punt team.
And Steven Johnson, I thought he looked a little gimpy a second ago. You know, as he was walking from the previous play, and you can see him, he's definitely got a hitch there. And you wonder if that's impacted this throw. You see him kind of trying to list away from that pressure late.
You could tell he's favoring that left leg. A.J. Brown makes a fair catch. A flag comes in on the far side, right in front of the Ole Miss bench. A.J. Brown, look a little bit like CFL motion. Pass is caught. Nice catch on the far side. Should be good enough for a first down. 10-yard pickup. That one goes to Metcalf. How about that orbit motion?
They do that a lot with A.J. Brown from his slot position. They'll blow him through the backfield behind the quarterback.
There is A.J. Another quick slant. They have had success with that play to hole number 1. Jordan Griffin on the coverage. Gain of 9. And now it looks like A.J. Brown slow to get up.
I just wonder if it's fatigue. You went in orbit motion, then they go tempo. Chains weren't anywhere close to being set up.
Second down and a couple. Ta'amu trying to take a shot. Has a man. Pass is caught. Metcalf, touchdown. What a throw from Ta'amu. 58 yards.
Ole Miss left nothing to chance on that one. They went maximum protection. They weren't going to risk any type of pressure. 7 men in to protect. And Metcalf just runs right by Lonnie Johnson. And another one of those vertical routes. If you let Ole Miss, if they're allowed to maintain possession, they're going to take a couple of shots. They're going to throw haymakers, and eventually they'll hit.
Point after is up and good. DK Metcalf, the redshirt freshman out of Oxford, Mississippi, the son of Terrence. You think about some of these junior college transfers and how they end up where they end up. Here's Bowden on this return. Flags come out, and he's got some running room. Bowden, he's to the 40. Makes another man miss. And Bowden all the way down to the 15-yard line. But there is a flag back at the 22.
Holding number 16 return team. Penalties half the distance to the goal for the spot of the foul. First down.
That handoff gets 3. 1:30 left to go here in the third quarter. Boy, it looked like Kentucky was going to take control of this game. Their opening drive of the third quarter, they just marched it right down the field.
And then it works in their favor. You get a red zone possession, you got to defend. You go backwards, you kick a field goal, you get a penalty off a punt, and a big play puts Ole Miss right back into it.
Johnson coming near side. Pass is battered away. Play clock down to 4. High throw right through the hands of Isaiah Epps. It's incomplete. And there's a little energy on that Ole Miss sideline now as they force what appears to be a punt.
Well, it's an understatement to say it's a big third down with the momentum changing. And Isaiah Epps, we mentioned the true freshman, made the big catch right before half. That time he's got to come down with it for his quarterback. Would have been a big conversion for the Kentucky offense.
3 straight punts now for Kentucky after that opening touchdown drive of the third quarter. Matt Patton's punt, fielded by A.J. Brown, breaks a couple of tackles, stutter steps, gets a block. A.J. inside the 40 to the 38, and a short field coming up for Ole Miss. But 40 seconds to go, third quarter. Penniman this time getting swarmed by blue jerseys, but they can't get him down. All the way down to the 30-yard line. Give him 7.5. That is just a bulldozer coming right at you.
Well, Big Penniman, you mentioned he's more of the physical back. This play was dead in the water. Denzel Ware did a great job cutting the puller and creating a pile in the backfield. Didn't matter because as the defense rallied to the ball, Penniman just carried him for another 4 yards.
Penniman will cut it. He'll get it to the 28-yard line. That'll be real close to the line to make.
End of the third quarter.
And that'll do it for the third quarter of football. Wilkins a little banged up, but still showing he's got some juice in him. Tied at 27 with 15 more minutes to go. Ole Miss and Kentucky tied at 27, 15 more minutes of football. Third down and short for Ole Miss. They got the big boys in there. They'll hand it to Swinney, and he is stuffed for a loss. Kentucky wins that battle, a loss of 3. Why Swinney and no Penniman?
That's a great question. What a great play, though. Off the edge. Darius West just comes flying in there. Chris Westry does a great job setting the edge, and West makes first contact in the offensive backfield. And that's exactly what the Kentucky defense needed to do.
49-yard field goal attempt from Gary Wunderlich. And it is good. He sneaks it in the upright. Matt Luke fired up. His club has taken the lead.
How about the resilience of the Ole Miss Rebels? How many different times this season where this team could have just folded it up? And in this game, they're behind early. They're behind in the second half. It looks like it's swinging the other way, and Gary Wunderlich comes in to put the Rebels ahead. And Matt Luke, he's got the joystick on that kick, didn't he? He's pointing that thing. We need to sneak it left just a little bit. This is the moment when you need those guys to step up the most. We talk about close victories. These are fourth quarter games that Kentucky have found themselves in.
17 unanswered by Ole Miss has given them the 3-point lead. And a flag down. Looks like Ole Miss offsides on the kick. Here's Bowden. He is out to the 26-yard line. Benny Snell again on the carry. Benny up to 21 carries, picks up 4. His high this year is 32 rushes. And we're talking to coaches about can you just keep feeding him? They were like, absolutely. He has 30-plus carries. We're good to go with that as long as he's healthy.
He's a workhorse. And, we mentioned Saheem King. They want to get them a little bit more touches. He's not on the field, and Steven Johnson's not even going to hand it off. Guaranteed Benny Snell touches it right here.
He's in the Wildcat. Johnson comes back in motion. Snell working the left side on second down. We'll get maybe a couple of yards. So now it's a third down situation.
And here's the difference. We're talking about, what do they need to do? They've had some success running the football on first down. It's second down efficiency. They've kept it on the ground. It's a 3-point game. And they're getting stuffed on second down to where it's not third and short. Last year was a 3rd and 2. We saw a bootleg, and it was ill-fated with the sack ultimately on Steven Johnson. Another 3rd and short here. If Ole Miss shows pressure, I wouldn't be surprised if Kentucky runs that.
Johnson looking to throw. What a catch for the first down at the 37-yard line. Charles Walker. What a grab.
And Logan Stenberg got beat right now, and Charles Walker, well, that's a circus catch. Great body control, because he's breaking outside. He stops, leans back, and stops that football with his right hand. And Walker, a guy that doesn't get a ton of looks, does a lot of blocking at receiver, but a big conversion there.
Little reverse to Johnson, looking to throw, and he'll be dropped back at the 29-yard line. Ole Miss had a read on that one the entire way, a loss of 5.
Never really sold that one that well. And, you know, Walker doesn't get a ton of those. So you almost smell a rat right out of the gate. 88 gets the tap pass from Benny Snell. Then he flips it to Johnson. There's nowhere to go. Safety never bid on it. And you get a big negative yardage play there. You mentioned taking shots. That's an opportunity maybe just to gain some positive yards and move the sticks.
Quick hitter to Bowden. First down, Kentucky. Let's get a quick update, Dari. That is just crazy, Dart. They come in 1-7.
Yeah, that's hard to wrap your head around. And Arkansas just beat this Ole Miss Rebel team.
Gain of 7 for Benny Snell.
Benny just bullying his way. That completion to Bowden was enormous. You get the negative yardage play off a gimmick. It's 2nd and 10 plus. You're off schedule and you're on the minus side of the field. And you get a huge completion and an opportunity now. Keep the ball on the ground in a 3-point game. And Benny the Bull just finding his way to chip away at the yardage needed to convert the sticks.
Here's Benny again. Gets the handoff. Big hole off the right side. Snell out of bounds inside the 25-yard line. They are riding 2-6 all the way to the house on this drive. 21 more yards.
Great job on the right side. George Asafo Ajay doing a great job at right tackle, sealing the edge. They're running at Marquise Haynes, and they were able to get loose and outside. That was the split backfield look where that quarterback can pull it and throw it to Saheem King. You're not going to see a whole lot of pull game. And now back in the Wildcat.
24 carries, 153 yards for Benny Snell. He'll take the snap here. Snell down to the 10-yard line and another Kentucky first down. Give him 13 more yards.
I love his patience. Let the play develop in front of you. You're pulling, there's a lot of traffic, just wait. Just enough for him to set it up. Big personnel in there, 2 tight ends, 3 tight ends. A lot of bodies in the box.
Out of that Wildcat, Snell off the left side, down to the goal line. They'll spot him just shy.
Kentucky's found stability from guard to guard. They moved Drake Jackson into center, Bunchy Stallings to the right guard, Logan Stenberg at left guard. And it's been the difference for this offensive front. Nice block by center Drake Jackson, getting pushed right there in the middle.
Not going to happen on that play as Gates comes up to hit Benny Snell. 13 tackles today for Gates. Now up to 85 on the season.
We've seen Wildcat snaps all throughout this drive, Dave. They're not going to get away from it now. You see Benny Snell, he's a little bit blown. This is where you just got to gut it out one more time from the 1-yard line.
In the Wildcat, Snell cuts it back, touchdown, Kentucky. The 3rd time today, Benny Snell has crossed the goal line. And this one gives Kentucky a 3-point lead for a moment.
So the zone play, and there was backside penetration. Snell did a great job of pressing the point of attack and getting it into the end zone.
Point after up and good from Austin McGinnis, and now it is a 4-point advantage. 12 plays, 95 yards, and Benny Snell was the man.
Hey, we said what do they need to do to get going offensively? You make a defense go to the rodeo. You got to ride the bull. And Benny makes it all the way down to pay dirt. And he earned every inch of it. Snaps out of the Wildcat, muscling his way into the end zone to put his Wildcat team back on top.
Now Ole Miss, a couple of timeouts left. 2:14 is an eternity for their offense.
Yeah, we've seen that obviously throughout this game. Right when you think the Rebels are out of it, and they're able to hit a home run to get right back in it.
Fair catch called for by Ole Miss. Jordan Ta'amu will trot back on the field. The junior college transfer making his second career start. 323 yards today, 368 last week, and they'll need him to be clutch down the final 2:14.
To be smart with this football, a situation that he hasn't really found himself in. Obviously, Arkansas drove the ball late a week ago. Here you are, you're down. That was to go ahead for the Razorbacks. This time, you're trying to get back on top with time left on the clock. Can you manage this offense and make good decisions?
Jordan Wilkins back on the field for Ole Miss. The running back will slide out to the right and drop the pass. Incomplete. Low throw from Ta'amu.
Yeah, not the best ball from Ta'amu. Kind of guided that pass, it looked like. It's an easy pitch and catch, and sometimes those you think about it a little too much. Looked like Kentucky would have had that well defended regardless, even if the completion was made just as well maybe with the incomplete pass, so you don't get yardage lost.
Ta'amu. Pass caught out over the 40 to the 43. Van Jefferson will give Ole Miss a first down after a 13-yard pickup.
This is where the offensive line will be challenged by Ole Miss as well. Josh Allen on one end, Denzel Ware on the other. Can they protect? Ta'amu did a great job scrambling away and staying alive.
Ta'amu buying a little time, throws behind Van Jefferson. Let's get an update. Dari, what's going on? Shake it up.
You're not kidding. Blow it up.
Ta'amu. Swing it out to Wilkins. He's to midfield. That'll be a couple of yards shy of the first down. Jordan Jones making the tackle for Kentucky.
A huge third down here at midfield to try to stretch this possession.
Wilkins. I think they'll give him the favorable spot for the first down.
Jordan Wilkins in the backfield with a minute and a half to play as the clock runs. Josh Paschal on the inside, number 4. They can't just lay their ears back and rush, though.
Ta'amu getting pressure. Throws. Caught. DeMarcus Lodge on the sidelines. Gets out of bounds. Picks up 8. Boy, Paschal almost got to Ta'amu.
The mobility of Ta'amu. And it's come in handy on a number of occasions, even on this drive, where we've seen his scramble ability, able to evade the pressure and get the ball downfield.
Ta'amu. Big collision on Brown. Holds on to the football, has the first down. Nice grab from number 1. Westry came in to hit him.
Well, Westry got the worst end of the deal. Westry's going to come out of the game, and Lonnie Johnson is going to substitute in. Westry looked a little shaken up.
Well, Kentucky trying to get out of here with a win to go to 7-2. If they can hold on, it'd be the first time they've been 7-2 since 1984. But they've got some work to do. Nice catch by Dawson Knox. That's a gain of 9. He'll be a yard shy of the line to make.
It's a comfort zone for Ole Miss. They stay in, hurry up. You see quickly to the line.
Four-man rush out to Wilkins. Trying to get out of bounds, and he does so after he gets a first down. 30 seconds on the clock.
Nice block that time by Dawson Knox. As you see Wilkins wanting to tap out of this game. You got to keep in mind Wilkins, usually the every down back. So you start thinking protection scenarios. We've seen the back out of the backfield hit a number of times on this possession for Ole Miss.
Penniman in the game now at running back for the Rebels. They'll throw it out to Penniman. He's got some blockers, cuts it back. And he'll get it inside the 20, down to around the 17. I think Ole Miss is going to take their final timeout with 21 seconds to play.
Man, there was a lot of jersey out there on the perimeter. And a block in front of Penniman.
They added 1 second, so 22 seconds on the clock. Ole Miss has only won one game since September 9th. They have lost 5 of their last 6. Quarterback keeper to Amu. Hit the ground. Fumble. Kentucky has it. It looked like Ta'amu hit the ground and the ball popped out. Randolph came up with the fumble.
We saw the QB draw. We talk about how dangerous it is. Edwards came up on the tackle. That ball came out, but we got to take another look at this to see if Tommy was down.
Here we go.
After further review, the ruling is the runner was down before the ball came loose at the 7-yard line. It'll be first and goal at the 7. Reset the game clock to 18 seconds. 18 seconds on the game clock.
So once they get this ball set, the clock's going to start. No timeouts for Ole Miss. So they better be ready to go.
Same matchup at the bottom of your screen. 6'4" versus 6'3".
Pressure comes to Amu to the end zone. A.J. Brown was the intended target. Jordan Griffin batted it away at the last moment, and there's 10 seconds remaining, and it's 3rd and goal.
You go to your leading receiver and give him a chance. Did a great job getting your hands on it. Jordan Griffin knocking that ball down. And you wonder, they work to the field side, the 3 receiver side that time. Will they come back to the island that Metcalf is on down here on the 10-yard line number?
Ta'amu lost it up in the air looking for Metcalf. He made the catch as he inbounds. No signal yet. They gave him the touchdown. Metcalf with an unbelievable catch in the corner of the end zone to give Ole Miss the lead.
Even the Ole Miss sideline isn't sure of it. Metcalf working against Lonnie Johnson. You talk about high pointing a ball. He completes the catch. That's a touchdown. What body control by DK Metcalf.
What a catch. What a drive. 14 plays, 71 yards.
Score.
Gary Wunderlich to make this a 3-point game. 37-34. Jordan Ta'amu, 31 of 43, 82, 4 touchdowns, but the belt goes to 14. DK Metcalf.
He ain't holding it. He's putting it on. He's like, this is mine for the game. Just saw Sean Rawlings headbutt DK Metcalf without his helmet. And I think Rawlings was out with a concussion last week.
They're college kids.
Man, get a trainer over there.
The squib kick, a couple of bounces. Here comes some laterals. Bowden will try to throw it back. Still looking to throw it. Now the lateral game begins. Bowden again with it. He's backed all the way up. And the forward pass will end the game. What a day for Ole Miss. A team that had lost 5 of their last 6 games. And a heartbreaker just a week ago. Somehow found it today on the road against Kentucky to win 37-34.
Well, how excited is Matt Luke? Because it's been a long road to hoe. He's talked about California, a win that they counted on getting. It didn't work out. There was a drought. They get a victory over Vanderbilt and let one slip away, but they fought their way back into this one to get a victory.
Let's go down to Dawn.
Yeah, here with Coach Luke. You just said you'll take this one. You wondered how your team would respond after last week's loss to Arkansas. What'd you learn about your guys?
Just a gutsy win. So happy for these guys. Every week they showed up. They've had every reason to quit, and they just kept battling. And they've been getting better. And it's good that they finally get some return on their investment.
Take me through what was going through your head on that last drive and then that last touchdown catch by DK.
Just managing the game and trying to you had 2 timeouts, but getting down there felt like we had a one-on-one to DK coming up. He just made a great play.
Jordan Ta'amu in his second start, calm, efficient. What impressed you the most about him?
I mean, this is his second start. Just impressive. He takes us down the field and we score. Can't say enough about him.
Coach, I'll let you guys celebrate. Congrats.
Thank you.
Stitch, make something out of this.
Well, you see if Ole Miss can get a little bit of momentum. We said, what kind of season can it be? You got to get back in the win column. A lot to coach from, but certainly exciting to watch the quarterback come in as a backup and find a way to win in the 2-minute drill.
37-34 coming up next. It's SEC Now. Let's get you back to Dari in the studio.